watching KWQC TV, making a difference in the Quad Cities. Live from the Quad Cities, with Morgan Otier and Kyle Keel, this is Quad Cities Live.
Today on QCL, a first-of-its-kind event set for this summer. We're getting details on the Muscatine Triathlon at Deep Lakes Park.
Plus, Social Security benefits and who's eligible. We're getting your questions answered in our Financial Moment with Heidi.
And supporting survivors. February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and Family Resources is here with some startling statistics along with ways that we can all help out. You're watching Quad Cities Live on this Tuesday, February 11th. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Morgan Otier.
And I'm Kyle Keel. And for the first time ever, Cirque du Soleil is taking its acrobatic experience to the ice.
Yes, and the show is making its debut at Vibrant Arena in Moline this week. Joining us now is one of the show's performers, JoJo. JoJo, thanks for being here.
Hello, how are you guys?
We're
Doing
excited
great.
to talk with you.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this.
Yes, so are we. Okay, so this Cirque du Soleil show, Crystal, it was created in 2017, so it's been performed plenty of times, just not here directly in the Quad Cities. Talk a little bit about what audience members can expect out of this show.
Totally. This is Cirque du Soleil's only ice show that they've ever created.
Wow.
So it's super special. If you come and see this, you'll be seeing a legendary show that they created that incorporates lots of on-ice figure skating, extreme hockey skating, juggling, and traditional circus arts as well.
Yeah.
Taking those two together, binding them. It's amazing.
And we're watching it on the screen right now, and it's truly incredible the way that acrobatics has kind of been incorporated with the ice. I have to ask, I mean, obviously you're familiar with the ice, which we'll get to in just a bit, but kind of describe like that extra level of difficulty in incorporating another element like that.
Totally. When Cirque du Soleil was creating the show, there's so many more things that you have to think about. We're on ice. It's more dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, you can slip, you can fall. So even from the costumes, where we integrate things into the shoes for more grip, to it giving us more possibilities in terms of projections onto the ice, how we can tell the story.
Wow.
It's quite beautiful.
Yeah.
And also this production uses real snow, so you're talking about adding to the elements. I mean, it's actual snow. It's not the fake paper mache or whatever they use paper. It's actual snow that you guys produce.
No, it's real snow, and you might get hit in the face with a snowball from the
love
clown.
it.
All right, so be prepared.
Watch your back, You have many talents, as we're about to find out, but I did want to talk about one of them that we can't really see right now. You're one of the extreme skaters that's part of this show. And I believe, we have a video to show people. This looks like probably one of the most incredible things that people could see live.
So this is something you will not see anywhere else on the planet. This is called extreme ice skating.
Oh my gosh.
At age 2, I started rollerblading. My parents were professional rollerbladers competing in X Games.
Oh wow.
And then age 10, I started playing ice hockey, which I fell in love with.
Yeah.
So going from like skate park, rollerblade to hockey, to kind of like marrying those two together, this is I feel like I was destined for this act, and it's so much fun.
And that's my first time seeing that video. I'm amazed.
I know.
I'm amazed by that. So you're an ice skater, you do acrobatics. You're also a juggler, as you've been kind of showing us.
Absolutely.
But this is a relatively new talent to you.
This is super new to me. So when I joined,
hard to believe.
When I joined, I was the extreme skater. That's what I signed my contract for.
Yeah.
And within the first 8 months, I fell in love and became best friends with this guy named Agustin, who's from Mexico, who's the head juggler.
Okay.
And he decided to take me under his wing and teach me some of his stuff.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
And 2 years later, here you are.
Yeah, here you are. So you are going to juggle for us today. Let's get out of the way.
Yeah, all right.
You guys are going to need to hold on to one ball for me.
Okay. All right. Oh, I caught it. I caught it on TV. There we go. All right, take it away, JoJo. Nicely done. Very nicely done. It's hard to believe you've only been doing that for 2 years. I can barely juggle 2 balls.
That was so good.
Appreciate it.
That was really great. So if you want to catch more performances like that, you can see the show Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. There are 2 performances on Saturday as well as 2 on Sunday. So for tickets, visit vibrantarena.com or Ticketmaster. JoJo, thank you so much for sharing talents with us today.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you. Still to come on Quad Cities Live, test your endurance at one of the area's newest athletic events, the Muscatine Triathlon. We'll learn more about it after the break.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Get ready to swim, bike, and run at a first-of-its-kind athletic event coming to Deep Lakes Park in Muscatine.
Yeah, that's right. We are talking about the Muscatine Triathlon, and it is set for Saturday, August 2nd. Joining us now with everything we need to know is Muscatine Mayor Brad Bark and Johnny Arnett, representing the event sponsor.
Yes.
Thank you both for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so Mayor, I know that you are very excited for this event, and this is really exciting for the city of Muscatine itself.
It's really exciting for Muscatine just to have 500+ people participate in Muscatine, stay in Muscatine, eat in Muscatine, and have a nice little party afterwards. It's going to mean a lot to us.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend, and we're going to get to all of that fun stuff in just a few minutes. So first, Johnny, tell us a little bit about the triathlon itself. This is something that everyone can participate in. You can be a pro at something like this or not. That's fine too.
Well, I think it started with Adam Raisbeck, who's the triathlon director, and he's a police officer in Muscatine, and I think he and his team were like, what can we do in Muscatine that's a really fun event, it's health focused, you know, it's positive, you can do it with your family, and they came up with this triathlon idea. And then Adam, you know, came to Kent Corporation. We try to support any and all community events in our community. It's where we've been for generations now. And we were like, we're in. And it was a perfect fit to have our Squincher brand be the presenting sponsor.
Yes, absolutely. And so, Squincher, tell us about Squincher. Tell us about the brand. You brought some samples for us today, but there are actually a variety of products that...
We're doing some market research. I want to know what flavor stands out to you.
Well,
so pick a quick stick.
Yeah, while we pick one, tell us a little bit about what we're putting in our water here.
So Squincher is our premier hydration brand. They've been with the Kent family of companies since about 2015, but were founded in Columbus, Mississippi in 1975, still packaged in Columbus, Mississippi. We have a really great facility there, and it has a unique combination of electrolytes, so sodium and potassium.
So vibrant.
Oh my gosh, so this is actually perfect for an athlete that's participating.
That's
why you get your electrolytes in there without all the extra sugar and things like that. Okay, cool.
All right.
What kind did you do?
I did the mixed berry.
Okay, I did lemon lime.
I did watermelon because Muscatine's known for the small
Oh yeah,
I love it. That is spoken like a true mayor.
At your job.
That was a mayor.
That's what I do.
Right there. Okay, great. Yeah, we're all gonna try it. And then the triathlon itself. Like it's a sprint triathlon. What does that mean?
It's a little shorter than the Olympic
more
triathlon.
Doable.
Yes.
Doable for us normal folks.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, because you don't have to be this extreme elite athlete. I mean, you can be, but this is really for anyone of all ages.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I do.
So the sprint triathlon is much shorter than the typical triathlon. Thank goodness for us, number one. So you're looking at a 750-meter swim, and then you're going to kick it off with a 12.4-mile bike ride, and then a typical 3.1-mile run after that.
So it's like 33 lengths of a pool. That's basically what you got to do.
Okay. I mean, I can
open
wrap my head around that, and you guys are going to do it.
That's not too bad.
Yes.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yes.
Well, yeah. You have to. I mean, you have to.
Yes, I'm going to do it.
We want athletes of all levels to just do it. Just try it. I mean, if you're a strong runner or you're a strong biker, okay, just do that leg, but find a couple friends and do the triathlon.
Okay, now you might have convinced me.
Yes,
I
you
could
can do it
like
relay
a relay
style, Morgan.
I could do a relay. All right, Kyle. Kyle and I are in then.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're in.
There you go.
Maybe you three.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll work out a deal after the show.
I get dibs on the running because you don't want me doing anything else. So it also boasts really huge prizes for the competitors in this, the real competitors, which is kind of cool because it's really, I think, going to put this event on the map, so to speak.
It's going to take it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Adam has done a very good job raising funds for this as well. So typically, the elite class, first place men's, first place women's would get $500 each.
Okay.
Muscatine Triathlon, $5,000 each. And then second place would be $2,000, and third place would be $1,000. So significantly more than other sprint triathlons.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And we're excited about that.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and also there's going to be a lot of fun after the triathlon as well because you have a nice post-race party going on in Muscatine as well.
Yes, we do. It'll be farmers market. We'll have games for the kiddos.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of little fun things actually at the triathlon, but afterwards we're going to have a nice little party on our riverfront around the Mississippi River, and we'll have a concert and some refreshments for everybody.
It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, that'll be fun. And yeah, I was reading all about it, and there's a Facebook page, there's a website, and we're going to get to all that at the end of the segment. But there's going to be plenty for family members to do while their loved ones are participating in the triathlon. But Mayor, the night before, there's going to be another event. There's a Taste of Muscatine.
Yeah, we're going to call it Taste of Muscatine. So we're just going to make sure that our restaurants and small businesses are open downtown. And throughout Muscatine as well. So this would be a great time to carb load for those elite athletes.
Let's get those carbs going.
That's what you do. So make sure that they're open. People can walk up and down the street and then just stay at our wonderful hotels downtown and throughout Muscatine as well.
Absolutely. Johnny, it's got to be exciting. I mean, I know that you work there in that area, but just to see the growth, I mean, as a citizen, and like just to see everything that's been happening in Muscatine, the beautification, and now events are starting, like more and more events are making their way. It's exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. I mean, I grew up in Muscatine, so I'm a lifer, and I just feel like in the last few years, there's so much momentum in our community, and we have just great foundational support, I think, in Muscatine. We have a great riverfront. We have great businesses in Muscatine. We have great nonprofits in Muscatine. We have so many people who are willing to volunteer to even help this triathlon, for example, but that's just one small example.
Yeah, that's great.
Lots of generous people.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. So mark your calendars, August 2nd for that. It is set for that day, of course. The Taste of Muscatine will be the evening before. The triathlon, though, at Deep Lakes Park. And if you want to learn more about the event or get registered today, visit muscatinetriathlon.com. Mayor Bark, Johnny, thank you so much for joining us today. Johnny, thanks for bringing this.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this is delicious.
Delightful.
I'm going to find myself some squincher.
Yes, we appreciate
So
it.
you can go to Amazon,
right.
Ranger, Fastenal.
There we go.
Just go to Amazon.
All right.
Perfect.
All right, well, coming up next on QCL, Social Security and spousal benefits. We'll break it down and get your questions answered in our Financial Moment with Heidi.
Social Security and spousal benefits, who is eligible to collect them, and what requirements are in place? Lots of questions. We're getting those questions answered in today's Financial Moment with Heidi Hughes-Camp-Collins, who is back with us today. Heidi, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So according to the Social Security Administration, what constitutes a marriage? Because I think that's a good place to start when we're talking about spousal benefits.
Right. A marriage is defined by law for the Social Security benefits as if it's a husband and wife, then they have to be married for at least 1 year.
Okay.
Now, common law marriage is not recognized in Illinois, but it is recognized in Iowa.
Okay.
So that, so if you have a common law marriage in the state of Iowa, you can collect Social Security benefits.
Okay, and important to differentiate with us being right there on the
cusp,
border.
Right. Yeah. Same-sex relationships qualified, if it's a married couple. Again, you have to be married at least 1 year.
Okay.
Now, to take a benefit. Now, if you get if it's a second marriage, say, and the husband or wife is collecting divorce benefits from a divorced spouse or survivor's benefits from a spouse who has passed away, they can start getting the benefit right away.
Really?
If the new spouse is the benefit would be higher. Now, obviously, if the benefit from the divorced spouse or the spouse who's passed is higher, you would keep getting that.
Okay, I see. So requirements that people need to know about. What are some of the other ones as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, great question. So what you've got to think about with Social Security, like I said, there's the 1 year, and then
for additional requirements, is there anything else that people, I guess, beyond just being married, is there anything else that they need to make sure that they have in place or anything like that?
No, not really. Now, you want to make sure that the spouse.
Let's rephrase the question. So how does the Social Security Administration, how do they come up with benefit amounts too? Because I think that would be something that people would be super curious about. Is, you know, obviously it has to depend on retirement of your spouse.
Right, right. If you, one thing you've got to think about is if you are a new husband or wife, you've got your spouse that you want to claim from has to have already started receiving their benefits.
Oh, okay.
Okay. If that spouse gets to be full retirement age, you know, wants to keep putting off retirement, claiming benefits to increase their benefit, you can't claim, the other spouse can't claim off of them.
Okay.
If they have been taking a benefit, even if the new spouse has never worked outside the home before, they can collect a benefit.
Really?
Yeah. And the other thing that's important to know is, you know, as a full retirement age is for most boomers right now. So people in their 50s and 60s is 67 years old.
That's right. Okay, I remember that from our previous segment. Okay.
Exactly right. So if let's pretend that Sue and Bob are married, and they're both 67 years old, and let's just pretend, I'm just making this up, let's pretend that that Sue has never worked outside the home, and Bob's full retirement benefit is $2,000.
Okay.
Okay. So if Sue wants to take her benefit at 67 too, her benefit is going to be half of that, 50% or $1,000.
Okay.
It gets a little bit more complicated if Bob wants to take his benefit earlier than 67, or if he wants to delay it and take it later at, say, age 70, to get the largest amount possible.
Okay.
So if Bob takes his benefit early before the full retirement age, when he would get the $2,000, he's only going to get $1,400.
Okay, so it'd be less, yeah.
And Sue, if she's 62 and she wants to take a benefit at the same time, she'd only be getting $650.
I see.
So quite a drastic reduction.
Okay, I understand, yeah.
So if Bob wants to wait till 70, he's going to get $2,480, or just shy of $2,500.
Okay.
But if Sue wants to get, wants to wait till 70 to take hers, she's not going to get 50% of Bob's, bigger payment.
Right.
She's just going to get 50% of that
when you're 67 years old.
So she's going to get $1,000.
You know what, though? The things that we learn when you come on the show, because I don't know how a lot of people would kind of muddle through that information without having that expert to ask, which is why Heidi is here today. Of course, if you want to learn more about the variety of services that Heidi can help with, be sure to visit her website, hhcinvestments.net. And a reminder, you can see all of our segments together by visiting kwqc.com and clicking the tab for Quad Cities Live. As always, Heidi, thank you so much for being here
Thanks
today.
for having me.
Absolutely. Much more to come, actually, in our next half hour, including ways to support survivors during Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. We're going to sit down with Family Resources to talk about that. Plus, Top of the World Ranch is here with a closer look at services and treatment programs available to those battling addiction. And later, the Robert R. Jones Library will join us with some entertaining programs and events on the calendar, from blind date with a book to teen craft club. But of course, Wednesday, it's going to be a first alert day. Maybe you've heard, for significant snow. Meteorologist Kyle Keel is breaking that down for us after the break.
And now your first alert forecast with meteorologist Kyle Keel.
Well, we certainly have a lot to talk about here over the next couple of minutes. Let's get you a look outside right now on the Everywhere Camera Network. Clouds. This view is going to look a lot different, more wintry-like. It'll be a wintry wonderland by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon, as we are tracking that winter storm, the first significant snowfall of the season. The entire TV6 viewing area now under that winter storm warning. But regardless, if you see the winter weather advisory in purple to winter storm warning, it's the impacts that remain the same. Tomorrow afternoon and evening, travel will be very tricky with those snow-covered roads. And yes, even after the snow falls, we've got the wind. So that's why we've got a long duration first alert day, 6 a.m. Wednesday through the morning commute on Thursday. We're going for a range of 3 to 7 inches of snow, and I think northwest of the Quad Cities, there could be a couple of areas that do get locally higher amounts. This is going to lead to that hazardous travel for a high impact here as we head Wednesday into the early parts of your Thursday. So how are things shaping up right now? Well, we've got some snow developing with a developing area of low pressure here off to our west. We've got Nebraska and Kansas getting in on some of the snow showers. Notice this stream of Gulf of Mexico moisture down here. So what's going to happen is this low pressure is going to tap into some of that moisture. It's going to track to our south, and on the cold side of that low, we are going to see the snow here in the Quad Cities. And the snow will track in after midnight in one tiny little wave of some scattered snow showers. So between, I would say, 3 and 6 a.m., we'll just have a scattering of snow showers. Notice those temperatures. They stay in the upper teens to low 20s tomorrow. So the snow that falls is going to be a very fluffy snow. So that's why it's going to pile up pretty quickly. So Exact Track shows just a couple scattered snow showers here after midnight. But again, between 6 and 8 a.m., that's when we do see that snow overspread the area. Notice the dark shading of blue. That does indicate moderate to heavy snow at times. That's going to continue through the lunchtime hours. And notice in the afternoon, it starts to become a little more scattered, maybe not as widespread, but certainly for that evening commute, we're also going to notice that we will continue with that snow. But notice it gets out of here a lot quicker than what it looked like at this time yesterday. So we've kind of backed off on those heavier snowfall totals of the 8+ inches, and we're going for a widespread 3 to 7. But notice here on our map, looking more like a 4 to 6 inch range for most of us here. And that's not all as far as the snow goes, because we are tracking a couple of first alerts here for Friday afternoon and again on Saturday for a couple rounds of accumulating snow. This is a new development here today. Looks like we could get hit with maybe an inch or two of snow here Friday afternoon and evening, which could affect some of those basketball games. So we'll stay tuned for that. And then model number 1 and 2 here for Saturday has been fluctuating back and forth. So we're still keeping that first alert in effect for that potential of maybe another round of accumulating snow on Saturday. Between the Wednesday event and the Friday-Saturday event, it will get cold. And then after the weekend snow event, we'll get another round of Arctic air.
Oh, wow. Lots to look forward to there. All right, Kyle, thank you. February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. It's a time to show support for survivors, raise awareness, advocate, and educate. Joining me now is Sydney, a domestic abuse advocate with Family Resources. Sydney, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so we have some statistics that you can easily find through Family Resources showing 1 in 3 teens in the United States will experience some kind of abuse from somebody that they are in a relationship with. I'm sure that this statistic actually comes to a shock to many people.
Yes.
But it's something that you deal with on a regular basis, at least hear about.
I definitely do, yeah. It is very shocking. I've actually been in the schools a lot the last few weeks.
Okay.
And when I bring this up to the students there, they can't believe me when I tell them that it's between the ages of 16 to 24 is 3 times the national average for them to experience violence compared to adults. So it's very shocking.
It is. I mean, they're still just kids when you think about it, which is, it's unbelievable. Now, another statistic actually shows that that teen dating violence typically occurs among teens who actually see each other very often. So you talk about being in the schools, and 1 in every 3 of them could be going through something like this, and they just may not have any idea. It could be a good friend.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's what makes teens and young adults unique compared to adults, because they're going to school with these people, they don't have as much control about their situation as an adult does. They can't just decide, you know, I'm no longer going to see this person anywhere. I'm going to completely cut off ties from them. You know, they don't have that option.
Right.
They have to go to their parents to get any kind of legal help as well.
Yeah.
So orders of protection, if they have to go that far, a parent has to do that for them.
Yeah, it's just wild. There's all kinds of social pressure there, and then when you start talking about legal action and things like that, it's very hard, and I'm sure very traumatic for a child to go through, a teen to go through. So talk a little bit more about how relationships are a spectrum. People may have heard this before in the past, but it's an important piece here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see relationships, they're not always abusive, right? We see healthy ones too. So these are where you have good, open, honest communication, you feel safe and comfortable around each other, you can spend time apart from each other. But then we start seeing this move to a more unhealthy relationship, okay? So there's dishonesty, you know, untrustworthiness, there's not very good communication. Maybe you're being started to pressured into activities, and they're starting to try to take control.
Okay.
And then we get to the abusive. And this is where if we have any kind of physicality. So if you're ever being hit, that's an immediate red flag. But it's also things like them requiring access to your social media accounts, controlling what you do, who you talk to, maybe keeping you from being able to talk to your friends.
That's scary.
Total control.
Total control. Scary stuff. And that actually is some of the red flags that we see on the screen right now. Of course, there are very many, and we don't need to go through all of them, but I think it's important to highlight some of them. Checking locations constantly. So that control that you were talking about is just needing to know where you are at all times. Gaslighting, of course, it's become somewhat of a buzzword these days, but it is still important to understand what that means and to understand if it's happening to you or if you think that it is. Put downs and insults. Unstable personal relationships, I also think, is a good one. If you notice that partner you know, doesn't have really good relationships with anybody else in their life, that maybe there's something going on there.
Maybe they don't have any friends, or even their family relationships isn't good. You know, if they have no one but you and they're trying to get you to have nobody but them, that's a really big red flag right there.
I'm glad that you talked about that. Absolutely. And then of course you have red flags, but you also have green flags, and that kind of goes under the umbrella of that when you talked about healthy relationships. You know, you feel like you can have those difficult discussions with the other person. This is difficult when you're talking about teen dating violence, because the communication skills aren't necessarily where they would be, you know, for a 30, 40, 50-year-old person. But they still need to feel comfortable to be able to kind of say what they mean and say what they think.
Absolutely, and that actually starts from the parents or the role models in their life, right? We need to talk to our children about what a healthy relationship is. How do we talk to each other? Technology, our phones, they've really impacted communication skills. And they've changed the way that we communicate as well. So we need to learn to adapt and help provide safety in all of those aspects.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to ask you, you know, going off of, you know, speaking about cell phones and social media and all of that stuff, do you feel like the media, society, whether we're talking about TV shows or movies, kind of romanticizes unhealthy relationships in this way?
Absolutely. If you think about things like soap operas and stuff, like
there's always a problem.
There's always something going on, or like, you know, smacking your partner is just a sign of passion, or things like that, or even in, you know, our sitcoms or some popular movies or books. Like, we see where people are okay with this type of behavior because it's a sign that they love you. You know, the amount of times I was told as a little girl that they're just picking on you because they like you, right? That's not real, and we shouldn't be teaching our kids that, because as they get older, they're going to come to expect that that behavior is okay when it's not.
Yeah, we can stop that cycle at an early age, which of course is another point. It's something that, you know, we need to be educating our kids on as early as possible. So it's not so much about sheltering them from some of these tough discussions, but finding ways to be able to talk to them about it so that they're prepared.
Absolutely, and so that they feel like you're a safe person to come talk to if they are, unfortunately, 1 in 3.
Absolutely.
The reason why domestic violence gets to continue to happen is because people don't talk about it.
Well, that's what, that's what months like this are for, right? Raising awareness and supporting survivors. Family Resources has locations actually across the QCA. And if you're someone you know is experiencing an unhealthy relationship, you can call the crisis line you see on your screen or visit the website for more information, famres.org. Sydney, thank you so much for all the insight today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. Coming up on QCL, understanding addiction and creating an environment to help other people heal. We're going to learn more about Top of the World Ranch next.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
Addiction is powerful. Oftentimes, people need support to overcome it, and that's exactly what you'll find at Top of the World Ranch located in Milan, Illinois. Joining me now is Brett Vasek, a certified addiction and drug counselor with Top of the World Ranch. Brett, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
lots to talk about, lots to get to. I know a lot of people are probably curious about it. It's a beautiful space located in Milan. It's a beautiful mansion on a ton of acreage. So let's start there. Just tell us about the space itself.
Yeah, it's intentional, right? We want to provide a safe space that people can start to let down their guard and be able to talk about exactly why they're there.
Yeah.
It's not just the addiction, that's bringing them to this point. It's their past. It's depression, anxiety, trauma, and so it's our job to enter into a journey with them to locate and find out and discover what that is, and then help them to reduce that shame and guilt that they're feeling.
Yeah, well, we were showing some photos of the space right now, and I mean, if you look at that, there's water around, there's lots of greenery, there's lots of space to just, be, which I think is probably a huge part of this. So let's talk about who this treatment is for. What kinds of addictions can you help people with? What's typical?
Yeah, so typically, our client is an adult, 18 or older.
Okay.
We have all walks of life that come through the doors. We don't take Medicaid, but we do take other forms of private insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Cigna, all of those.
Okay.
And so I think that's a common misnomer for us is, we're just private pay, and that's not the case. So we have tried to make it very easy to access our services, and for anyone that, your typical employee working somewhere to even a judge. We've had judges, doctors, lawyers. So the nice thing about being out in that rural area is that it's very private.
Right.
And so it allows for that opportunity to not be seen. And so we don't allow laptops or cell phones. We really want people to disconnect from the outside world so they can start looking inwards and seeing how they can improve, because we want them to leave changed. We want them to leave transformed.
Absolutely. I've seen it, all over your website. You want them to leave, you don't want them to come back, and
100%.
That's part of your programming there.
Yes.
Is making sure that is part of it. What are you going to do once you leave here? So I guess talk about some of the treatments that people can receive and what a typical day might look like for somebody at the ranch.
Well, to your first point, I think that's really important too. We don't allow someone to come back more than 3 times.
Yeah.
Somebody might need to come back once or twice, but usually if we can't help them, they need to go somewhere else. And so we're able to say that. Typical day is a lot of programming. It's heavy programming from the moment they wake up until they go to bed. But it's also diverse and dynamic. We do a lot of different, state-of-the-art therapies and experiential therapies too. And so we offer accelerated resolution therapy, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. So something unique about us is that we do 2 hours of individual sessions with their counselor per week, plus an hour of aftercare per week as well, where they're working on what are they going to do when they leave? How are they going to sustain this change? And so every day is meant to be new. Every day is supposed to be building upon the day prior. To give them something that's tangible. We do not want them to leave having the same thoughts, same feelings.
Absolutely. Okay, so just describe a couple of the things that really sets Top of the World Ranch apart from other treatment centers. I know there's a long list, but there are a few really key things there.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'll go to the biggest one, in my opinion. The people that go through the program end up working for us. And so we have a lot of alumni that choose to come back and serve and work.
Special.
Yeah, 100%. And so they're giving back to the same cause that they experience a change from. So, you know, shout out to all the employees at the ranch that have went through it. I think we have an incredible staff. We have people that really get it. They understand addiction. They've either been through it or they've been around long enough to learn what addiction is, and that's important. So if you know what we're up against, if you know what it is that we're fighting, then that's going to prove to be, you know,
yeah, you're a good partner in that fight.
100%,
yeah,
100%.
absolutely. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you. And for anybody who wants to learn more about the programs and treatments that Brett talked about today, or the facility itself, just visit topoftheworldranch.com. Brett, thanks for coming on the show today. Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. And still to come on Quad Cities Live, from Blind Date with a Book to weird and wonderful creations, we're taking a look at what's on the calendar this month at Robert R. Jones Library.
You're watching Quad Cities Live.
From guest presenters to creative crafts, even a movie night, there's a lot happening this month at the Robert R. Jones Library in Cole Valley.
Yeah, and as always, Kaylee Floyd is back in studio with us to take a look at some of the events and activities on the calendar. Kaylee, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
As always, beautiful display. Obviously, a nice little Valentine's Day theme. So let's dive right into it. You've got Blind Date with a Book happening right now.
Yes.
Look at how
beautiful
these are.
Blind Date with a Book. Yeah, last year we kind of did like the brown paper, and this year I was like, I'm going to find some cute wrapping
Fancy
paper.
it up.
Yeah,
you have done amazing.
For sure.
Amazing.
So, and then also we added like these extra bookmark, because we have the bookmark that gives us like the review of what they thought of their book. In fact, we got like a few back from one of our patrons, and a lot of it has on there like, what's your first impression? And one of hers was yuck. Yeah. So then she had to tell us, she's like, oh no, I was so wrong. I loved it. So we love that we're creating this impact with our patrons, getting them outside their comfort zone.
Blind Date with a Book, for people that don't, so you don't get to know what the book is.
Yes, you just will call out.
Yeah, so you get like kind of a little description. So, so this one, what's your love language? Discover the key to meaningful relationships and deeper connections. So that's kind of the little blurb on that one. What's the one that I wanted to read, though? This one here, that I wanted to read this one. Oh yeah, this one says, playdates, preschool, and bloodthirsty children. Motherhood has never been this terrifying. I mean, I want to read it. I don't know what's in there.
Can you relate?
Yeah, can relate.
I made him a while ago too, and so then I was like reading him today. I'm like, I don't even remember doing this. This is so funny. But yeah, a lot of people told us last year too that they picked like a whole new series that they never would have picked for themselves, and just based off of
I love that.
books. So,
I love that.
Yeah,
get you into something that you might not know you like.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've also got the Teen Craft Club, which has become very popular as well.
Yes, we love Teen Craft Club, and so much so that it was hard for me to decide on a craft. So I was like, let's just do them all. So I picked like I think 4 or 5 different activities. This one's like a little heart thing, canvas. Then we have these cute little fortune cookies.
That's neat.
Yes.
That's
and then
adorable.
I've got a banner down here that they can create with old book pages.
Oh, that's neat.
And then a little kind of like heart hug somewhere down there. Oh, I think it's this way. Yes, little, and it's actually filled with rice, so it's kind of like a little sensory heart thing too. And then I forgot, I'm like, oh, adding like a scent to it would be great, so we might do that as well.
I love that.
And then so it's just kind of like whatever they can get done in that hour is what they're gonna get to do.
Is what you get to do, and they're all great. And then you have Weird and Wonderful creations.
Yeah, for Weird and Wonderful, it's very similar to Craft Club, but I always try to find a weird element to it. So we're doing bean mosaics on cardboard. So there'll be different colored beans that they can pick from and make different patterns. So down here I got like a little flower pattern.
That's so pretty.
And then this one's just kind of like a round stripey pattern. So I'll have a bunch of different colors, probably all the colors of the rainbow.
Wonderful.
For them to make a cute little heart mosaic.
That is great.
Let the creativity flow.
Yes.
And speaking of flowing, you've got mocktail and a movie coming up at the end of the month, toward the end of the month.
For our adults, my coworker put together a mocktail and movie, and the movie that they're going to be watching is called Pinky. It's in the public domain, so it's an older movie.
Okay.
But she's going to have really cute little mocktails that go along with it. But then everyone's also welcome to like bring bring some extra syrups or other pops so that they can kind of make their own concoctions as well.
What a fun night.
So yeah, it should be fun, and definitely popcorn, of course.
Well, that is, yeah, what a blast. And you have some presenters that come to the library as well, and we want to get to a few of those before we run out of time.
Yes.
So What's for Dinner, presented by Gretchen Small. She's been on the show before. She's with the Butterworth Center.
Correct.
And that's today at 6 p.m.
I know.
She has an event.
That in real quick.
Yes.
Yeah, so she has an event. She's kind of talking about like how to preserve your family's food tradition. So like,
I just love that.
Telling storytelling and writing your recipes down so they're going to last throughout generations.
Love that.
So kind of giving tips on that.
All right, and then coming up later this week, Thursday, we've got Humor of Lincoln.
Yes, so Bill Hamps will be back with us again. He's been there a few times and he gives great presentations. So it's just kind of about like during Lincoln's time, how he used humor to interact and show his personality. And yeah, it should be a really good event. And learn some new information.
That would be great. Yeah. And then finally, Egypt Travelogue, presented by the Putnam Museum.
Yes.
You might recall that they got to go to Egypt last year.
They had a blast.
Had a great time, so I'm assuming they're going to kind of break it all down.
Yeah, hopefully they're going to show some slides of everything that they saw and just kind of put you right back in their shoes and hopefully give you tips too if you ever want to travel to Egypt as well.
Yeah, if you ever want to travel to Egypt, and of course they're going to Greece.
Yes, they've got that big
with the
planned.
Putnam. They have a big trip planned, so for anybody interested, yes, reach out to them.
And they are good talkers as well, to be a good presentation, that's for sure. So if you want updates on events, you can always follow the Robert R. Jones Library on Facebook. You can also find a full calendar of events on their website, robertrjoneslibrary.org. Kaylee, as always, thank you for joining us.
Amazing work.
Sharing what's going on at the library.
As always, yes. And thank you so much for watching.
Your News at 4 with Sharon is up next. Latest on the winter storm coming up.